I am Fridge. Welcome to episode 62 of Where Civilization Started Over. In the last episode, we saw the peace treaty after World War III. And in this episode, we will be starting over here with this country here. This country is, after years, this country is mostly united with most of the countries that make up this country now are part of it. There's still a few, like this red country over here, but this country has plans for that. My mouse pad just fell off my table that I'm on. I'm on a different table than usual because of reasons. But anyways, we're going to see this country here send troops into this red country over here, and they will also apparently go into this country. No. Need to turn the tolerance down. And they will quickly get to the capital and take it. Now it's only been like about a year or two since World War III ended. It's still freshly over. But the capital of this country has been captured. There'll be a bit more fighting inside this country. But this blue country will now send troops in over here. And after the country looks like this country will go ahead and surrender, and it will be fully annexed. With that, we can remove the capital. Speaking of capitals, this country's capital is pretty close to this side of the country, which is leading to some instability on this side of the country, and while they're destroying the houses of anyone who tries to resist to them, they will go ahead and move their country a bit closer. So they're going to move their capital from here to here. Actually, no, they're going to move it to this city up here. Now, this country was lucky enough to not get any nukes dropped on them. But speaking of nukes, during the war, there was a country that was working on making a technology that would make it easier to clean up these nukes after the war. And that country was California over here. And they're going to sell this technology to some of the countries. And in some cases, like over here, they're just going to give them the technology for free. So they've made some new technology that can make the cleaning up faster. I don't know. I just want to get these green dots off faster. So we will see some areas start to get cleaned up. They will start with the old capital. And obviously this is still going to take some time, but they will all go ahead and fix or clean up the nukes in those areas as well. Meanwhile, some countries like Korea, they will be able to get rid of all of the nukes over in this area here. Some of the nukes in the old Chinese cheese area will still be there for the moment. Coming down here, this country is going to need a lot, and luckily they are allies with Korea, so they're going to be sending them some, and they're going to be able to fix up some of these major cities. I'm going to focus on the major cities, so let me make sure I get those. Okay, that's all I'm going to be able to fix for now. There's a lot on them. This country, they will also be starting with their major cities. This country bought their own and didn't get them from Korea. And in fact, they managed to fix up quite a bit already. This country, they're going to need some help from Korea, and Korea has taken some time to send to them. This country is kind of ruined after the war, so they won't be able to fix theirs up yet, as they cannot afford the technology. Over here, receiving technology from Korea. Greece will fix up that over there. However, there's a lot of radiation over here, so that's going to take some time. This country is pretty new. However, I don't know why I said however. However, up here, this country is pretty old and pretty rich, so they'll be able to fix up their only one. And down here, this country will go ahead and fix up theirs over here. However, in Madagascar, things are still a bit of a problem. And North Madagascar will not be able to fix up any at the moment. So that's the nukes at the moment. Oh, Wales. They only got like 3 nukes on them. One of them they fired because that was Scotland. But they've been able to fix up all 3 of them. These in the water, I'm just going to move them because they didn't even hit anything. They just landed in the water. So yeah, with California's new technology, that's going well. Mexico is going to go ahead and invade this country down here, the Yukos country. If Yukos Theocracy is watching this, he's probably sad about the country called Yukos getting invaded. But he'd probably be more sad if Frog was to get invaded. Wait, that did happen. Anyways, though, Mexico will have some pretty good success. They have successfully taken this major city, and they're heading up towards the capital. Also, I completely forgot that they had the Caribbean, or Cuba and Jamaica, and part of the Bahamas. Speaking of which, Florida is also going to get involved in this war, so they send troops in over here and make lands on all these islands, island hopping, and it goes pretty successful as well. The Yukos is pretty busy defending over here, as their capital is getting close. Mexico will also send out a spearhead to take this major city. And Florida will make a landing over here and over here, taking this major city. As they push and successfully take this major city. And Jamaica will go ahead and declare their independence. So I will make them like that. Florida will continue to push in, along with Mexico pushing close to the capital. They will successfully take the capital, as Florida takes all of Cuba, and also this island over here. Mexico will push and take this major city, following which the Yukos will fall, and the tree is going to be pretty simple. Boom. And let me just get all these islands. Actually, it would just be easier to do this. There we go. So here we have the treaty. Another country has been erased from the map. However, at the same time, a new country has been added to the map, Jamaica, who is actually the strongest country in the world. I'm joking. The strongest country is clearly the purple country in Croatia. There's the capital city layer. So we can just take this dot over here. And Florida now has Cuba and all of the Bahamas. Anyways, though, we will now be heading over to Greece, who, I said before in the last episode, is unstable. And that and that instability is going to show as the country is just going to completely break into a civil war. And that instability will show as the country breaks out into a civil war with pro-democratic forces over here. And they are already pretty close towards the capital. In fact, down here quickly joins up. And it's really just the capital that hasn't joined up yet. But that might end soon. Seeing this happen, this country is in an alliance with none other than Korea. However, Korea has some other issues, which I'll talk about in a second. So they will not be able to help out over here. And we will see this lead to an outside country getting involved, that being none other than the yellow country here, who will push in and quickly take this major city, along with this major city here. And they're not the only outside force getting involved. As we see why is my mind blanking on the name? Cyprus also get involved and invade down here in this area here. Over in Istanbul, we will see a familiar color return, as we see Turkey rebel as well. And down here, Greece has captured the capital city, and the fascist dictator is killed the second that they capture him. They are not going to do what they did last time, where they torture him and have him on display as they torture him, as last time that led to him escaping and fleeing down here. Speaking of down here, like, all of the pro-fascists died from these nukes. Over here, we'll see this country over here just go ahead and walk into this area. However, then in this area, they go ahead and rebel, and they want to be their own country. Because we need more city-states around here. We have one here, and then we have one down here, and then we have one over here. We need more. So this country goes ahead and breaks away. And we also see this gray country decide to get some land, as they walk in and they take this land here. Meanwhile, this yellow country here is pushed down into Macedonia, which, by the way, this color over here is just Turkey, not Turkey, Macedonia. And Turkey will push over here and take this major city, along with pushing down here as well. Eventually, all of Greece will fall, and all of the countries will meet in Athens to discuss the peace treaty. So, here we have the peace treaty, and as you can see, the fascist Greece no longer exists. Instead we have this democratic Greece, and they actually were given some land from the yellow country, which had taken Macedonia, but they got it. Why they got it? Well, see, they made a deal with or in the peace treaty, the yellow team handed it over, and in return, we will see this new Greece go ahead and, if I can find the layer, and they will be joining the Diamond Alliance. Along with that, the nukes, there was 10 nukes here that belong to Korea, and, well, let's just say that those nukes have been stolen. Oh wait, I have the wrong... Oh, that's the old nuclear. Here's the new nuclear. I need to delete the old nuclear because it only was there while I updated for the peace treaty. But anyways, we can remove that. And up here, there is now 37 nukes. Let me make that number smaller so it's 37. I mean, make like the brush size, or in this case the font size, not the 37. But anyways, and then there's 5 nukes in this Greece, and Korea's mad about this, but they're dealing with other stuff. What are they dealing with? I'll talk about in a second. I need to update the capitals first, so leaving these 2 layers capital wise, we will see Greece go ahead and move their capital from here over towards here where it originally was, and then they had to move it up here, and then it was over here. Actually, it was up here and down here at the same time because there was 2 Greeces. Then there was 1 Greece and it was over here. Then there's 1 Greece again. Now it's over here. We will also see that. And finally, obviously, in Istanbul, that will be the capital of this new Turkey country, or old Turkey country. They just returned after being dead for a long, long time. There's Turkey, Macedonia, but this is the first time Turkey has been its own country since, like, I don't know. Anyways, though, what was Korea busy with? While a country that was actually also in the alliance wants their own empire, and they had a plan to collapse Korea, and that was they were going to fund a really, really small, at the moment it was really, really small, revolution group to kill the leader. However, spies that Korea had sent in here found out about this, and towards the Korea, the dictator, and the dictator's response, well, war. However, this small revolution group did still end up popping up over here, and while they were small, it is a bit of a pain to deal with, so they will slowly push in. However, the revolution group holds out, and we even see over here this peninsula go ahead and join up with it. However, this peninsula, once the military gets here, it quickly gets pushed back to just this major city, which at one point was the capital of the strongest country in the world. If you remember back to, like, between episodes 10 and 20, even like before that, China was the strongest country in the world. But anyways, in here, these cities are falling, and a push towards the capital is pretty quick, and the capital gets taken. As Korea continues to push throughout here, as they decide this country would no longer exist after this war, they even push up and take this major city and this major city, and they even take this major city. Eventually they even push up and take this major city, and this one. And soon after, they have taken over this entire country. They've also, after about a year, have collapsed these 2 revolution groups, and the strongest country in the world. Shows why they're the strongest country in the world, as they fully annexed this. However, while this was happening, they did lose an ally over here. And, you know, I kind of regret fully annexing this, but Korea does not want this country existing, so they're going to fully annex it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to fix that. Okay, that's looking a bit better. It still doesn't look good, but it will look better in a few episodes. Not going to say why. But anyways, the remainder of this country has been turned into a puppet, so the government is installed by Korea. And with that, this country will still be in the Cross Alliance, but as a puppet instead of their own country, and their dreams of an empire are officially dead. Anyways, though, there will be 2 more events in this episode. The first of which is going to be over here, where we're going to see this country here go ahead, and they're pretty broke after the war, so they're going to go ahead and they're going to sell some of this part over here, and along with that, some of these islands here, including this one with a major city on it, to this red country here to get some money. That major city was the main thing that they got money from selling this. However, this red country also wanted that for a long time, but this red country is not that strong, so they didn't go ahead and invade it. And the final event happening in this episode will be over here. We're going to see a union occur between 3 different countries, and those 3 countries are these 3 right here, who all unite to form one country. This is because all 3 of these countries, these 2 used to be part of the Nordic Union, this one was in the Nordic Union's economic alliance, so these 3 are all not doing too well when it comes to economy, so they're going to unite to hopefully fix that. And the capital is going to be in... Let me go to the capital there quickly. The capital will be in this. Not the one that's still marked, but over here, in this major city here, as it is between all 3 of them. Well, it's actually, I think it's in the pink country, but it's closer to the borders of these other 2 countries. So that's where they put their capital. So it's pretty cold, but like, who cares about the cold? Anyway, so I need to mark the major city over here. But that will be the end of this episode, so it's a bit of a shorter one compared to the last few episodes, but there was a massive war, so it's expected for the 4 episodes to get short after that. There will be another episode at some point soon. Anyways, though, thank you for watching, and goodbye.